Bro, we fist pumping out here. What's up, guys? Happy Thursday, October 28, 2021. I'm Gun. Twitter.com/Gundackersports. Joined today by Raj. Raj, it's been a while.
Finally.
You almost had... What do you mean, finally? What do you mean, finally?
I've been waiting for you.
Wait for me. You know the drill. I need your feed 10 minutes before we go live. I don't hear from you until 6 minutes. I gotta flip the switch. I'm talking about, I've been waiting for you, bruh. You left me on red for an hour. I had Chronic on deck,
I got it checked. I mean, I told you I'd be back on Thursday, Friday, so we're good to go.
Yeah, but you know, there's still we got deadlines. Anyway, what's up, chat? What's up, guys? Happy Thursday.
How did yesterday's slate go?
Went all right. It went good. Actually, it didn't go good. I lied. I got slaughtered yesterday. I had a lot of my value attempt. I guess I can pull up something to look at. The dumb gun in me got a little too cute. After lock, I was like, let me get some late swap going. I swapped freaking Josh Giddey to like Pat Connaughton. Not what you want. Ooh, it's not what you want.
Giddey had a good game.
Giddey went off. Connaughton had like 9. I leaned on Bobby Portis a little bit on DraftKings. He had 9 fantasy points. I was openly skeptical on what we might expect his minutes to be. What are you going to do?
You wish I was on the stream. I would have told you. He didn't play all preseason. He's not going to get full go first game back.
So even if he played 18, I would have been happy with I was happy with the projection just for lack of value. And then on Fanduel, let me open up some of my Fanduel lineups to see what really got me. Of course, I was there on Westbrook. Oh, it's the Anthony Davis news, man. Anthony Davis was kind of iffy all day, and then a little closer to lock, I decided once he was confirmed to play, I was like, let me just load up on Westbrook AD, and that naturally got me away from the amount of Giannis Antetokounmpo that I initially had. So yesterday was a day when swapping got me into some trouble. But other than that, like I didn't have any like true mistakes. But the Giannis to AD was like a 30-point swing, right? So what are you gonna do?
I don't have enough OG and Nunaby, and I think it was Van too. Went out the Raptors. I didn't have enough Raptors. Well, yeah, Precious, and he didn't do too well.
Yeah, Van Vliet's been a problem. Looking at yesterday's slate, Giannis Antetokounmpo led all fantasy scorers on DraftKings, 78.5. DKP Russell Westbrook was number 2, 59.5. He was number 2 highest scoring player on the slate, Raj, with 10 turnovers. Thoughts?
I mean, that's standard Russell Westbrook. Whenever one of those guys are out, you're going to get that. Westbrook's going to get you 25 to 30 real life points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 turnovers. You live with the good, you live with the bad. That game wasn't his fault. Anthony Davis had a terrible game. He had an okay game. Westbrook, he could have had better, but that game, I definitely, it's more on Davis.
Jimmy Butler was 3rd. DeAndre Ayton, I did like DeAndre Ayton on the stream. I thought he was too cheap at 6,600. I said I pretty much implied a double-double, and he had 21 points, 21 rebounds. Massive play for 6.6K. And then, of course, you got the Devin Booker 50 bomb. So if you were smarter than I and played Ayton and Booker together, that would have been 106 plus fantasy points. That's massive. Yo, Mega Royale 99, appreciate the sub on YouTube, man. That's love. You guys are out there lurking. Hit that sub button. We have a goal of 6K subs by January 1, man. I would definitely appreciate you helping me boost there. You mentioned OG Anunoby. Man, this guy, historically, you just think of him as a stocks guy. And yeah, he had 6 stocks yesterday. It's another game with 20 plus real points, though. He's kind of
a different OG. It's a different OG. He's chucking shots, becoming a scorer.
Also, what happened yesterday, Daniel Gafford got injured early for the Wizards. So Montrezl Harrell ended up falling into 38 minutes. And you know what Montrezl Harrell does. He's a point per minute plus, 45 fantasy points. He'll be somebody to watch today. But yeah, that's the gist of last night. Chat, how'd you guys do? Happy Thursday. Smaller, condensed slate tonight. Just 6 games. So we got time to vibe and spend a little bit more time going through some stuff. I got some really cool news to share with you guys in terms of adding utility to your RunDFS.com premium subscriptions. That's it. Also, we got football tonight. The Green Bay Packers, I think I read they had 1 receiver Is that true?
Crazy. I mean, they
Like,
have Randall Cobb.
I think so. I think there's like COVID
Yeah,
protocols everywhere. So, oof.
yeah.
Let's see how Aaron Rodgers sneaks through that against the undefeated Cardinals. What up, Lincoln Hawk? What up, Dang Lazy Mofo? New music, yo. I'm telling you, that Clark's is the artist behind most of the music, not all of it. That dude dropped some bangers for royalty
Woulda,
free.
coulda,
So,
shoulda. Like
yeah.
Jalen Carter, new
I
music.
can't
It's
play
not
your
new
music,
now.
dog. I get
Yeah, it's
copyright.
copyright. I know. I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, they're gonna copyright it when I'm on this show. I gotta go to my distributor and be like, hey, can you allow this one channel to
Whitelist
play my
my
music?
YouTube channel because
Yeah,
yeah,
something like that,
man.
right? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I
I'll
would play your music, but anyway, what up,
yeah.
Brody? Mia Moore in the chat. She says, rumor has if you hit the like button super early stream, his plays are better. That is true. Like I've noticed if I don't have 70 likes, until I get to 70 likes, my plays kind of suck. What up, Darren? Playing the stream at the shop. Yo, shout out everybody getting that fade from Darren in the shop today, man. Darren is that dude. You better
Hey,
tip him.
basketball
Fat tip.
fade.
All right. I'm talking fat tip, bro. It's a tough word out there. Drop him that 20 bomb. You know what I'm saying? What up, Randy? Jaylen Brown never again, bro. I'm telling you, that's my Celtics approach, bro. It's gonna burn me sometimes, but not all the time. Especially the big slates. I can zig and zag and whatever. ABG says playing these studs on Q tags with GTDs has been rough so far. Yeah, that's the NBA DFS way. What up, Julian? How you doing, brother? What up, Dadrian Morgan? I got jailed yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I mean, I was off to such a hot start for the season, so I was due for a little bit of regression yesterday. It came a couple of, like I said, late swaps burned me. Up until now, late swaps have been profitable, and at long term, late swaps are going to be more profitable than negative. But I got a little too cute, overthinking some spots, especially in my mid to high dollar single entries. Yeah, I know. Roger, we played your yeah, we got a strike. We got a strike.
Yeah.
What else? News to watch today. So there's a couple of bits of pieces of information that we got to keep an eye on. Trying to isolate it to just Thursday news. Let me see if Underdog tweeted a all-encompassing what to watch for tweet. Usually about 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. They did. Key news to watch as of 3 p.m. Eastern. Zach LaVine questionable. Sounds like he has something torn in his non-shooting hand. So keep an eye on that. Joel Embiid questionable. Trae Young's probable. Jeremy Grant questionable. And both of the B. Bogdanoviches are questionable. Not related, by the way. So that's what we're dealing with. Obviously, the big notes there. If Joel Embiid can't go, might pick up some Andre Drummond. But Embiid, I believe, has been questionable all but one game so far.
Yeah, he always plays. He always plays.
We'll see if that trend keeps up today. And then looking at, we mentioned the Gafford injury. Did I list Gafford out? I did have Gafford out. So Montrezl Harrell would probably be somebody that gets baked into a ton of minutes today, probably a ton of ownership as well. But hard to not.
Trap?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of cheap. How does he not? Yeah. How does he not? Young C in the chat. What up, Doug? You're man, oh man. Where to start? I don't know if I want to jump headfirst into everything. Chat, do me one solid. Hit that thumbs up, man. We've been hitting 70. I will say that the lack of haters lately is so refreshing, right? Usually I hit a stream, there's a couple thumbs down. Last couple streams, it's been like 70, 80 thumbs up, no thumbs down, man. Haters are being phased out in our community, man. That's what's up, man. You guys are awesome. So keep showing that love, keep supporting the channel, supporting the streams, and hopefully we'll hit that 6K sub goal. Tomorrow we will be doing another stream, but bear with me on the start time. I will have to do, not have to do, but I'm doing an awesome NFL top stack stream with my boy Greg. And I think it's about an hour before normal start time on this stream. So it sounds like I'll be able to get out of there and turn over here and flip the switch, but it might cost me 5 or 10 minutes versus the usual start time. So be flexible with me on that tomorrow, but we'll definitely have that Friday stream breaking down the big Friday slate. And then Saturday, no afternoon stream Saturday, but I will be doing the morning stream with EMAC on the Osmo channel as well. So if you're looking for me tomorrow elsewhere and Saturday, that's where you can find me. Of course, if you're on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker, I tweet all that stuff out. So yeah, what up, Jack Phillips? I guess let's switch over to the Toucan breakdown shot. Let's talk about RunDFS.com for just a second, chat. Most of you guys already know this is my baby. If you guys ever wanted to get access to some of the proprietary stuff I've created, the spreadsheets, the projections, and probably more importantly, the premium Discord, this is the entry path. This is the paywall for what it's worth. You go to VIP memberships, you find something that's right for you, and you get signed up. Well, I had been working on a partnership to add a little bit more utility and a little bit more value to the membership in the last 2 months. And first of all, you've seen that we have versus last year already dropped the membership prices substantially. The week passes the last 5 years have been $30. The month passes $100. I'm not naive. I look around, I see what other sites are offering for similar price points, and while I do offer something a little different with the Discord, the voice chats, or something like that, I don't want to break the bank, but I also don't want to make it too cheap to where we just get those gremlins that just want lineups and stuff like that. So I've been trying to find a happy medium. So not only have we discounted it, and I'm basically okay with this price point, but we've added some utility partnering with Fantasy Cruncher. So if you guys are looking for an optimizer to use, and you're already going to have a subscription to RunDFS.com, well, guess what? You get a head start against the Fantasy Cruncher, for Fantasy Cruncher in terms of credit. So anyone that gets a week pass will have $5 credit applied to a Fantasy Cruncher subscription. A 2-week pass is $10 credit. Year-end pass, which is only going to be up a couple more days, is a $40 credit towards a Fantasy Cruncher subscription. If you get the year pass for next year, a couple of you guys already got that. That's $150 towards your Fantasy Cruncher subscriptions, and month passes are $20. And the NBA season pass, which actually we already took down, would have been $100. So a little extra bang for your buck. If you do get on that, hit me up. I'll get you the link to where you can link your RunDFS account with your Fantasy Cruncher account, and then I'll be working on coding a way for you guys to more accessibly download my projections and stuff like that. And hopefully if enough of you guys get into Fantasy Cruncher, I'll probably do a screen share in Discord and kind of walk through some settings and how to use it. It's really, really powerful. It's probably the best in the industry. Most of the guys that you see winning in the MME streets are using Fantasy Cruncher. So shout out to Fantasy Cruncher for that partnership. There is no monetary gain on my behalf for that. That was purely an awesome deal that they offered to me to kind of pass on some more utility to you guys. So shout out to Fantasy Cruncher for doing that. But yeah, jump on that. If you guys have questions, DM me on Discord and we'll try and iron that out for you.
I just want to add that full season for 2022, the 799 and the rest of this year. I mean, I feel like 3 conversations with myself. Well, I mean, the Discord is worth that price.
This guy.
I mean, right then and there. So you're getting a hell of a deal.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
I'm telling you.
Little everything: baseball, basketball, football, and then yeah, we're different when it comes to baseball. I'll tell you that. Let's jump into today's slate and start navigating these waters of the 6-gamer. Try to think outside the box. Try to walk away with a couple plays. We'll be using the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, or excuse me, the NBA VIP spreadsheet. Then, of course, I'll be navigating in and out of maybe StatMuse and some add more funds If you guys haven't checked out Add More Funds, they offer the NBA Wowie tool and the rotations tool, which is a really, really valuable way to quickly reference previous games, previous game scripts, previous minute rotations, and add a little bit more context. Why did this guy get so many minutes? Well, this guy was in foul trouble, or this guy got ejected. It's a quick way to answer all that. It's an invaluable tool that they offer an amazing free product, but they also have a really cool sponsor product as well. So I do sponsor that. I, again, not partnered, nothing like that. But if you guys did become sponsors off of that link, I would get a little kickback, not going to lie. Let's jump into game number 1 tonight. The Detroit Pistons at the Philadelphia 76ers. Project starting 5 for the Pistons. Killian Hayes, Josh Jackson, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart. Up against Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. 212.5 is our total here. The home team 76ers for everybody 10.5. So we talked about Joel Embiid being questionable and how he's always played through Q tags for the most part, at least this season. You feel like this 10.5 point spread is Vegas assuming that Embiid's going to play, because that's a pretty large gap here. If Embiid did play sub 10K on DraftKings, definitely has every right and possibility to be one of the highest scorers on the slate if he got to a happy minute projection. I put him at just 30 right now because it does feel like he's not at 100%. Not only physically, but perhaps in terms of being conditioned out and getting the minutes that we would like. And with Andre Drummond also available, you feel like the path to him getting to a 34-35 high responsibility minutes is a little bit lower. So he actually fell to just third in my projections behind Steph Curry, behind Luka Doncic. So I'm kind of going to wrestle with the thought of, does the field react the same way? Do they undervalue Joel Embiid versus his true ceiling? Or are we all on the same page that this could be a blowout and this could be more of a revenge game for Andre Drummond at sub 5K on DK? So I'll be thinking about that. And then on the Detroit side, keep an eye on Jeremy Grant. He is listed as questionable. He's got a left elbow infection. He did not practice Wednesday, and that leaves him questionable for today. Him not being able to practice is not a great sign, but we should get another update following shooting around. So if Jeremy Grant's unable to go, you might expect another opportunity to play Kelly Olynyk in an aggressive fashion. He was one of my keys to success on the last Pistons slate, and he didn't really get to a price point where I wouldn't feel fine playing with him, playing him. God dang it. Oh, damn, I was not watching. At 5,400 on Fanduel, sub 6K on DK, 30 plus fantasy points would easily be something I would expect in the absence of Jeremy Grant, and there should be plenty of minutes there for him. And then you would probably watch the spin the wheel, make a deal situation at shooting guard. We've seen Frank Jackson, we've seen Josh Jackson. It seems like both of the Jacksons would be mostly irrelevant for your chances to win a tournament. I think my core interest without Jeremy Grant would be Sadiq Bey, Kelly Olynyk. And then on the Sixer side, Raj, is kind of a hard waters to navigate, but softer pricing than we're accustomed to. Maybe Tobias Harris is a tougher pill to swallow. Joel Embiid, max capacity Embiid under 10K is always in play. But is there anybody else you feel could be sneaky here? Tyrese Maxey under 6K. Seth Curry burned the world, but he's likely to be second or third in shot attempts and 20 plus real points in a game. Not out of the range of outcomes. And then Andre Drummond with and without Joel Embiid might grab some tournament shots for me based on this spread. What's your leans at first look?
When it comes to the Philly side, I mean, I think Tobias Harris is just priced close to kind of like a ceiling game when Embiid is in. So at 8-7, like if he gets you 45, that's essentially what you need, and that's a great game from him. So probably not getting there in the spot. Joel Embiid I think he clearly is, hurt. Past couple games, 30, 33 minutes, 30 minutes. So he's taken 7, 15, and 15 shots. So I don't think he's 100%. And that knee's bothering. He's kind of playing through it. So at 9-8, like I said, with Luka, with no Porzingis, and even John Moran, Steph Curry, I don't think I'll get to any Joel Embiid in the spot. Even though, he should feast against guys like Stewart and Olynyk. I just don't trust his health. You mentioned Seth Curry. Again, just a guy who, if a shot's on, it's going to go, could get you 35, 40. So he's a guy in tournaments you could always kind of play. Guys like Tim Hardaway, him, Terrence Ross. Shots hitting, he'll get there. but not comfortable. Andre Drummond gets interesting because if you think again, if Joel Embiid isn't 100%, one of these games he's going to leave the game, especially when it's questionable all the time, right? So you play the next 10 games, I would think Joel Embiid might leave one of them or two. So if you catch that and Drummond, at 4,900, I think he'll get you like maybe 4x 5 in a good with Embiid, and then without, you're just going to be way ahead of the field playing Andre Drummond, and you can definitely take on a tournament. So in that base, obviously, you're not going to predict, Joel Embiid getting hurt, but him being questionable all the time, clearly not 100%. One of these games, he's going to leave, and Drummond's going to pop off. So Drummond in tournaments, I don't hate it. Troy side, you mentioned Olynyk. If Jeremy Grant sits out, I'll probably lock in Olynyk, even at 5,800. I really like that price tag and his upside at that spot. So give me Olynyk. And Sadiq Bey, that's a guy that has that upside, 45-point upside. He's 6'8", Philadelphia. I like Sadiq Bey if Jeremy Grant sits as well.
Yeah, I think Sadiq Bey could be playable almost regardless, but he definitely has a little bit more of a floor if Grant is out. As guys that could pick up the usage, pick up the scoring. Let's get caught up on chat here. What up, RMC? One of the latest followers on the YouTube channel. Well, Lorenza, Jack Phillips, Crispy, Quinn Williams. Julian said, I had Jalen McDaniels as my value guy yesterday. Got me there, but the studs killed me. You know who I saw? And it wasn't until after, but I saw one of my friends mention Jared Vanderbilt before lock, and I was like, I wonder how that turned out. It turned out pretty doggone well, so shout out to him for the
I mean, Jaden McDaniels too, I think was a good play, and I know I wasn't there around yesterday.
I think
he was in a spot.
I think he said Jalen from the Hornets, right? There's
okay.
a Jaden and a Jalen, I believe.
Gotcha.
What up, C-Wiz? Man, what's up, chat? Look at the vibes. I got to get a little Embiid here. Price and spot are too good, but I ain't making my night on it. I think it's a very fair approach, ABG, right? Like, one day we're going to look up and Embiid has 33 minutes and 60 fantasy points. So I definitely, in Mass Century, that's why you play Mass Century, right? You want a little bit of ceiling. Sometimes you give up, you trade ceiling for volatility. You give up that floor a little bit. But that Knicks game, Embiid just 30 minutes, one foul. So it wasn't like he was in foul trouble or anything like that. They closed out with the bums, right? Maybe he would have been entitled to an extra couple of minutes, 32, 33. And when he's on that court, man, that usage rate is sky high, 28 to 30%. Very, very real number here. But we are battling with a double-digit spread, a low total. So I get it. I get the trepidation here. But yeah, just 50 fantasy points would be enough to satisfy this price point. So I'm in on that. Maybe. So one of the things you can do on Cruncher, and we'll discuss it a little bit more in the premium Discord. If you guys are in late, we do have a partnership with Cruncher now. But one of the things you can do is go to advanced options, and one of the things I might be thinking about doing today on a 6-game slate is hedging here, right? So if you go to groups, this is a quick way to do it. There might be other ways to do this, but if you go to groups, and other optos may have this, one of the things I'm thinking about doing is if I want both Drummond and Embiid today, I probably don't want them in the same lineup, right? Would you want both of those guys in the same lineup? I guess there's a world.
No, you definitely limit. I think you limit your upside though. You play both. There's no reason to. Especially
you could create a player group on Cruncher, and you could say, use at most one player from this group, and a simple rule like that would protect you from falling into lineups with both of these guys. Now, maybe there's a world where, sub 5K Drummond still gets there, but yeah, I think that's kind of my line of thinking is I want a little bit of both of the big guy here, but I don't know how much overlap I want between them. So that might be something I wrestle with and set early on. So something to think about, a little food for thought there. Let's get caught up on chat again. Man, chat is killing it. RMC says 1-200 on PrizePicks yesterday. Let's go, RMC. Let's go. Hornets. Yup. Yeah, the Hornets it's confusing, right? We got a couple of one-letter differences. Jaden McDaniels, Jalen McDaniels, Bojan Bogdanovic. It's kind of crazy, the parity in the same league, right? C-Wiz says, eye test and B doesn't look motivated. A lot of hanging at the top of the 3-point line, waiting for someone to dish it to him so he can try and take an open three. Eye test, right? Eye test. I still think his per minute production is still there, and we got to kind of seesaw in favor of the math a little bit more, but still the math doesn't necessarily give us a confident 30 plus minute projection. I got him right at 30. There's definitely a chance he gets a little bit more, but I think with the healthy Drummond in that front court, even Georges Niang getting some run here, I don't really feel super confident that they need to run him that deep this early into the season, especially in a very winnable game without the trade. Now, he is questionable, even though he has played every game with a Q tag. If he did get scratched, Raj, we lock buttoning 4,900 Andre Drummond on DK, 5,700 on Fanduel, and even Kelly Olynyk to the same extent. Like those would be extremely high floor value plays with stealing, right?
Yeah, that's a hot a lot. That's in 20 lineups you get 100% Drummond. 150 lineups maybe 90%. I think you always want to leave a little bit in case, but 80 to 90% Drummond if he gets scratched for sure. And same with Jeremy Grant gets scratched. I mean, gets ruled out. That Kelly Olynyk not as confident as him in Drummond, but again would be in 20 lineups you want to do 80 to 100%. I'm with that too.
Yeah, let's matriculate on to the next one. Washington Wizards hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Project starting 5 for the Hawks: Trae Young, Bogdan Bogdanovic, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Clint Capella taking on Spencer Dinwiddie, Bradley Beal, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Montrezl Harrell. 2-2-2, another one 2 is our total, and a 2.5 point spread for the visiting Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young coming into this game with a Q tag, a couple of Q tags to be cognitive of. Obviously, if the Hawks end up sitting a few of these guys, it really shakes the slate. But Trae Young and Kevin Huerter, even though they had the Q tags earlier, Trae Young with a left shin soreness, Huerter with his right ankle. According to this report from 111 Eastern, both are expected to play. So the true Q tag remaining is Bogdan Bogdanovic with a sore right ankle. Lou Williams also questionable. So I guess keep an eye on Bogdan. If Bogdan didn't play, you probably see Kevin Huerter maybe promoted to the starting lineup, and that would open up more 6-man ball handling responsibilities for like Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, not a super cheap price of 53-51, but 30 plus fantasy points is well within the range of outcomes for him to achieve. We also saw the season debut of Danilo Gallinari. It is a back-to-back, right? So if he's did they play yesterday? I feel like they did. Danilo, maybe I got that backwards. They played 20. Yeah, they did play yesterday. So being that he just played, I wonder if they're cautious with him on a back-to-back. So keep an eye on that. So there are a couple of asterisks to write down if you are intending to attack some Hawks here. And then Trae Young's a good conversation piece here, but the Wizards projected starting 5 also features Montrezl Harrell. Talked about Daniel Gafford going down yesterday. It's still life without Hachimura, life without Thomas Bryant. So there's a real chance that Montrezl Harrell might have the highest pre-flop minute projection I've ever given him in a game. And yesterday we saw it. They had no one else to go to. 38 minutes of him against the Boston Celtics. Celtics do kind of have a bigger rotation in their front court, but Capella and John Collins, they're no scrubs either. So historically, Montrezl Harrell is a point per minute beast. So I don't know how Montrezl Harrell doesn't start the slate for me as a tier 1 guy, just mathematically based on his propensity to accrue point per minute production. Let me bring this to October. Oh shoot, I put the wrong year. Let me bring this to October of this year.
Sure.
And we'll take off Gafford, even though it's an exercise that doesn't need to happen, but we'll do it. We got time today. We are using the Wowie tool at Add More Funds. If you guys want to check that out, ! AMF in the chat. Montrezl Harrell averaging over a fantasy point per minute this season at nearly 120 minutes. He's just too cheap here. I think the pricing came out before this happened. I don't even know if the pricing would have adjusted correctly, but there's no way Montrezl Harrell doesn't tier 1 for me, and I would really have to wrestle with the thought of how much is too much and how little is too little, because he'd probably be points per dollar my favorite play on the slate. So tier 1 Montrezl Harrell for me. It is a really tight spread, 2.5, so a competitive ball game. I'm in on that. The guy I want to start the conversation with, Raj, is Trae Young. Yesterday I was a little skittish on his propensity to be an okay play because of the lack of free throw attempts this season. But if you look at the last couple games, he's getting a lot of real points. Back-to-back games with 30 plus real points, 20 plus shot attempts in 3 games straight. The volume of shot attempts is there, so there's not a 0% range of outcomes for him to be a 50 bomb today. I look at the competition at the guard position today. It's stout. You got Luka, you got Steph Curry. You can make a case for Ja Morant as well. And Trae Young limping in aesthetically with a Q tag at 9,400. He probably gets fizzled out in the when you put all those guys on the table. But this seems like a slate that could be value center heavy, and does Trae Young deserve a spot in 20 lineups? So what are your initial leans on Trae Young today?
I mean, not a guy I'm running to play with a couple of the studs on the slate. I think with it's just a deep team with a lot of guys taking shots, whether it's Cam Reddish, Herder, John Collins, you got Capella doing his thing, Gallinari. So not a guy I'm running to play at that price tag at 9.4 right now. Hasn't had the best season so far in terms of upside at his price. Will get you 40 to 50, no 60 bombs yet. It's not right to play him. But the Atlanta side, I think I'm really interested in John Collins. So he's been getting a lot of foul trouble, 5, 4, 4 fouls, 25, 24, 27 minutes the past 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he ever gets 30, 33 minutes at 6,300, and we're going to see 40 plus fantasy points here. So, and in this spot against Washington, against Montrezl Harrell and what's his name? Montrezl and Kyle Kuzma. I don't expect him to get into a ton of foul trouble. Those guys shouldn't give him too much of a problem. So I think this is a spot for John Collins to kind of have a game where he finally plays 30 plus minutes and could get you 40, 50 spot. So my favorite play in Atlanta is definitely John Collins. Cam Reddish has been good to me lately. His price tag has come up a bit. Kind of a bit of a down game, but sees the minutes at 5,100. A guy who can get you a couple stocks of points, can get you 30, 35. So if you want to have him in some tournaments, I like it. But other than that, on the Atlanta side, I'm not going to anyone. Washington, I mean, Trez is just, I think, again, maybe a little bit of a trap, 5,300. He's going to play the minutes, but Clint Capella is the best matchup. I think this could be a Clint Capella spot where against Kuzma and Trez, this could be a spot where he gets 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds, gets some putbacks. Could be a 15, 15, 20, 20 type of spot for him. So Clint Capella, I forgot to mention, I think is definitely someone in tournaments you can play. Again, 29 minutes last game. He's been itching up in minutes, so maybe he sees 33 this game, a little more. So I don't mind that. Elite matchup for him. I mean, he should destroy Montrez and Kuzma. So Capella, but like I said, back to Washington. Trez will get the minutes. I don't know about the matchup. You're going to have him. But I wouldn't hate if you were under the field or half the field on Trez if you want to go underweight.
I don't see a failure spot.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, he'll just get there in a bad game, like a 30. But I mean, again, if you want to take something down, if you want to fade a guy, like his ownership percentage, I mean, it should come in close to 60%, maybe more.
It's got to be one of the highest on the entire slate. He's a point per minute guy. He has such a soft landing at 5,300. Like, you're not dead if he gets 25, right? And how does he not get 25 unless it's just all hell breaks loose?
I think, again, trying to win a large field tournament, I think you want to go onto the field with him. There's definitely viable there. Kuzma, suddenly this guy's becoming one of the elite rebounders of the NBA. 11 rebounds a game. I mean, this is a different type of Kuzma. But at 6,200, I'm probably not getting to a ton of him. I don't know if Dinwiddie plays today. But I think there's a little bit of a question mark there. I'll come out back-to-back, right? He played yesterday. He's back-to-back and he had an injury, right? So whether Dinwiddie plays.
I don't have any Q tags on him. Let me double check.
Yeah, there's no Q tag.
No, there is one. Yeah, okay. It's coming off a major knee surgery and could be rested on Thursday against the Hawks. So that seems speculatory, but it makes sense. So if he didn't play today, you might get one of those extreme Bradley Beal usage spots, or maybe like a Raul Neto or Aaron Holiday, who's now on the team.
Or Bradley, Kuzma too. I mean, he's checking shots.
Yeah.
If no Dinwiddie. But I think, like I said, Montrez is the guy I was going to run to. If Dinwiddie doesn't play, I think Bradley Beal is probably an elite play in tournaments too at that price tag. Probably, I mean, if Dinwiddie sits, I think Beal as just raw points would be number 2 on the slate, or 3, probably 3 next to Doncic and Curry. I probably have him over Morant, so that's really close.
Do we have any sample this season with that? I mean, no, probably not. I don't want to get too noisy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is under 9K on Fanduel. You know, Fanduel has the multi-position eligibility as well, so you could probably get away with playing with a few spots. But yeah, 9K Bradley Beal. You put the Trae Young, the Steph Curry, the Lucas, the Ja Morant on the board. You wonder where Bill falls. I feel like the field's sharp enough to react accordingly. A tight game, tight spread, home game for Bradley Beal. If Dinwiddie was out, Bradley Beal might lead the slate in projected minutes. So I could get behind some of that. 50+ fantasy points is definitely a range of outcome here.
I don't know if he'll be that old even if he gets ruled out, just because Luka with no Porzingis, I think will be the auto click. And you still have that Memphis Golden State game.
Yeah, let me get caught up on chat here. What up, Mongo? What up, Blaze? Dave says I cashed with SGA and Giannis yesterday. Those were fine plays. Giannis was the best play on the slate. What up, Mongo, Randy, Julian, Jeremy Hoffman said I watched you yesterday and went on to finish first in the 12K $3 3-entry max with 354.
Hey.
Let's freaking go, Jeremy. Huge night for you. I'm happy. That's what I like to see, man. I love to see you guys crushing it. Quinn says I love Collins and Capella tonight against the weak Wizards interior. We know Montrezl plays no defense. Yeah, I got no quarrels with that. I will say, keep an eye on Capella. They had been kind of babysitting his minutes, and then getting a guy like Gallinari back potentially in the rotation with guys like Gorgie Zhang in that front court. I wonder if they do push him more. He hasn't exceeded 30 minutes yet, so you might have a glass ceiling in terms of minutes, and more so specifically because it is a back-to-back. So I wouldn't get too greedy with Capella exposure, but I am in agreement that the matchup is just fine. But it comes down to what can I get. A minutes projection that I'm excited about, but yeah, he can go 1.2, 1.3x per minute in this spot, just as well. Anybody else I'm missing here? Raul Neto Lockman if he doesn't. Yeah, Quinn says Montrez will get there, but his plus minus will be like -20 and Wizards will lose. Man, Montrez is my boy. Montrez and Enes Kanter, right? These are like huge PPM monsters. But yeah, defensively they're not that talented. But I looked at Montrezl Harrell game log with 20 minutes. Let's go. Let's bring it back to like, I don't know, 50. I don't know. Let's go 25 minutes. I still think 35 minutes is like my projection here, but just kind of give you an aesthetic on his propensity to be a point per minute. So I reached it back last 50 games that he has played. And then in those games, what games did he play 25 minutes? There is one game in this last in this aesthetic that has less than 27 fantasy points. So I just feel like the floor is way too high for Montrezl Harrell with an aggressive minute projection, and we know the ceiling is nuts. The ceiling could be 40+, even in tougher perceived matchup against like a guy like Capella. So I don't see any way around Montrezl Harrell for me. Even if he's not a great real basketball player, he's an incredible fantasy basketball player, and there can be a difference. What's up, Victor Padilla? What's up, guys? You like Raul Neto? New sub as well. First of all, appreciate you subscribing. Sometimes we don't get alerts on the stream because not everyone has public subscriptions. I think that's the key. So even if you do sub and you don't get the alert, let me know in chat. We'll show you some love. But Raul Neto would only be somebody that I would consider if Dinwiddie was officially out. He's another guy I wouldn't be too excited to play. He has those games where he can drop 30+, but something last year that we don't have this year, or something this year that we didn't have last year, is Aaron Holiday's in the mix as well to take over some ball handling duty. So Raul Neto's definitely not a guarantee to be a smash value play, and he's kind of expensive on FanDuel. I would almost happily fade 4,700 Raul Neto if he got to an aggressive ownership, because I do think his potential to bust is a lot higher than his potential to be a tournament lock, right? Or a tournament, optimal tournament play. Let me get caught up. Jeremy Hobbs says, I'm a huge Wizards fan. I project Beal in the high 30s if Dinwiddie's out. High 30% ownership or high 30s real points. Either way, I feel like that's accurate. Mongo says, I only played tiers, cashed in 16 of 16 lineups last night. Wonder if Randall is a better play pound for pound versus Trey and Beal. So you don't have to worry about, or you mean just raw points. All you got to worry about is raw points. I guess Randall could be, Randall's in a tougher spot. I think that game projects to be low scoring. I think Beal would be somebody that Beal is just a different breed of animal if the point guard's out and he has to do it all. We've seen that time after time. So Beal would probably be my lean there, right? Damron says, let's put our balls on the table for Titty Baby Raj. One of the weirder sentences I've ever.
Yeah, I mean, why titty baby?
So you didn't see there was a comment on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah. I was like, I don't know why it's called titty. I mean, we got some trying to get some gorilla tits.
What?
Benching heavy, benching.
Bruh, can I pull it up? I wonder if I can.
Yeah, pull it up.
Chat, we got time. Chat, you guys want to laugh? I'll pull it up. But was it last week? Raj went to Eaton on the air. Like we did the stream. Raj, it was that disaster where Raj was eating food. He got up and left for a delivery package.
Get that protein.
And then, man, I don't remember what stream it was. Was it the Luca Coverboy stream? No, it wasn't that one. Maybe it was this Luca. We got a couple of Luca Coverboy streams. All right, here it is. Oh no, that's not it. That's somebody making fun of me saying, I'm gonna find it. It's gonna be found.
Find it. Was it this week or last? No, last week.
It was definitely last week.
Last week, yeah.
And anyway, Raj did all that, and somebody was like, "Yo, give me Raj's info. I'm gonna send him some food because I like that y'all are laid back, and this isn't a too serious stream." Here it is. My boy Mopar, shout out to Mopar if you're out there. He said, send me Raj's info. I want to deliver him some food, whatever he wants on the stream. You guys are cool, real life stuff. Don't worry about professionalism. We need more people like you. So I appreciate that style, right? Shout out to him.
Yep.
Some guy showed up and goes, no, less people like this. This is the problem with the country. Everyone wants to take the easy way out and the easy way on top of it. You're already living the dream. Why not put everything into it? Lazy AF. This dude is a titty baby, and that's obvious. Moms gave him everything, and when he failed, it wasn't his fault, and everything he does is cute and important, but none of it true. Annoying AF. But if you want to pay him for nothing, by all means. Whoa, that was a lot to take in. That was on
living the dream.
The 10.
I don't have $100 million in the bank. Yeah. I don't know what he's talking about.
But that's why Damron's calling him Titty Baby Raj because holy.
I'm saying, is he calling me Titty Boy or you Titty Boy?
I honestly don't know. But...
I'm like, this dude's out here. What if he shows up in the chat?
Yeah. Quinn says Montrez could legit go 10x. Absolutely. Neto has improved tenfold. I think there's a world for Neto to be an okay value play. For me, my desire to play him would come down to ownership. I could see some overreaction for Neto. He's just not as safe as maybe the perception would be. So I would probably use that as a potential leverage point against the Philly. It could burn me. But Raul Neto let's give him 28 minutes. DKP by game log last 50 games for him as well. We've definitely seen some spots where he spiked, but so like 30 plus against the Pacers, was it last week? But then there's like a 15 in here with 30 minutes. There's a 19, and if he got to less than 20, I don't think he would be that impactful as an optimal tournament play. But it might be something I weigh on as we get closer. I don't think Fanduel gives you quite a deal at 4,700, maybe 4K, a softer landing spot for the DK price point, right? Anyway, Moses Brown is sweet. Moses Brown dropping 50. If Moses Brown gets minutes again, we'll see if the Mavericks Leadership Council has decided that those guys should get minutes again. I don't know what's going on with that. It was someday Moses Brown NBA Top Shot most we were 1,000. Let's go. What's up, Giuliano? They avoid talking. No, I'm not talking about Moses Brown yet because we haven't got to the Mavs game yet, right? That's gonna be the last game. We're gonna go game by game, brother. New York Knicks at the Chicago Bulls. Next game on the docket. Project starting five for the Knicks: Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and resting Mitchell Robinson. Taking on Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. We got a 216 total, 1.5 point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls. So tight spread here, low score. However, a competitive game and a pretty decent predictive value in minutes projected. And we know where most of the usage goes. So something to look out for. You Derrick Rose fans, you'll love the narrative behind Derrick Rose coming home. I'm coming. He's back in Chicago, back in the land. So we'll see if he gets a little bit of extra run there based on the other guy coming home, Tom Thibodeau, maybe giving him that extra love here. But that's purely a narrative based sentence, right? Nerlens Noel, I think we saw him out. Julius Randle, 37 minutes on him as my soft projection. The Bulls have looked like an okay defense. The Knicks have looked like an okay defense. We expect this to be a little bit lower in pace. However, there are some opportunities at upside. Keep an eye on Zach LaVine. He's got an issue going on in his non-shooting hand. Sounds like it may require some type of procedure. However, he's going to play through it for now. The Bulls come in pretty, I would say, appropriately priced. I don't feel like I'm getting a staggering opportunity bargain price at anyone. However, you could see upside individually on one or two, but it would likely come at the downside of somebody else. So I do think you're dealing with that risk if you are running 10, 20 lineups, something like that. If you get to deeper, that's when you would really maybe take advantage of the if this player's in a lineup, then this player not, blah, blah, blah. Raj, what do you do with this one? I do want to feature Kemba Walker for just a second because he had a Kemba Walker game, 28 minutes against Philly, 38 fantasy points, a couple steals, a block. Didn't do much peripherals outside of like assists, but he did enough of each peripheral to
couple steals and a block.
Yeah, parlay his 19 real points into a massive game. You know, he only has 2 free throw attempts on this season. Like, man,
that's a lot of players this season. That's a lot of players this season.
That's wild. What's your favorite plays from this one?
I mean, I think I'm liking that Derrick Rose kind of narrative. Do we have any the samples of him in Chicago games?
Stop.
Bring that up. I feel like it's a real thing. Bring it up and see if the thing. I mean, if he sees the minutes here, 20, 29, 24 minutes. So
I feel like that's going to be way more noisy. It could be by game log versus Bulls last. Do you hear that whistling, by the way? Do you hear that?
I do, yeah.
You know what that is? It's wind. It's wind? That windy here.
It sounded like wind. Yeah, it sounded like some wind.
Yeah. I don't know. It's too noisy. Like Detroit games, Minnesota games. Like I don't feel right referencing any historical numbers of D Rose.
What's it saying though?
I mean, there's if you're just looking for at Chicago, his last game at Chicago was in 2019. He dropped 25 and 24 minutes with Detroit. The previous game was 40, 43. So like I don't. Yeah.
I mean, so if you want to play the narrative, I get it. Kemba Walker, 5,400. We saw kind of the upside game. He got hot from 3, 5 for 11. He's been shooting really well from 3 this season. So against a Bulls team, you want to take a shot at 5,400. It's just a cheap price for Kemba Walker. So if he sees the minutes 28, 29, I'm with it. Before that, he saw 19, 22. So again, with these Knicks guys, other than Julius Randle, I'm just not confident in any Knick. Like these guys all have, some of them have upside. Evan Fournier is going to have a game where, he's going to give you 35 plus at 6,100. RJ Barrett could have a game where he gets hot. But Randall's the only kind of consistent guy who you can really count on. But at 9,500, with Luka here and some other studs, it's just a tough spot to go to. So, I mean, if I fade the Knicks in 20 lineups, I don't hate it. 120, 150, you can have a few. On the Bulls, LaVine's battling that little thumb injury and is not shooting hand. Again, he says he's going to play through it. 8,500. He might go a little under-owned just because of that injury. But again, with DeMar DeRozan, with Vucevic, probably not a place I'm going to target here. This game might be a write-off.
It possibly, right? It could be like the Celtics playing each other. Let me get caught up on chat. Edward Logue. What's up, Edward? I feel like I remember that name from way back when. Logan, he says, it will not be slow paced. Knicks are shooting the most threes in the league. I mean, that's not necessarily a 1-to-1 correlation. The Knicks are 20th in pace in the league. The Bulls are 21st, so it at worst will be below average in pace. And then when it comes to 3 points attempt rate, the Knicks are taking the most threes, but chucking threes isn't necessarily a correlation to pace. It makes sense that, the rebound running guns chuck them, but that's not what's happening here. They're still below average in total pace so far. That may normalize as we go forward, but I think that's cool. That's that's a good point that they're chucking threes. So something to watch for here. But also with all of these stats, we've got 3 games, 4 games, some of these teams 2 games. So I don't know that that's enough sample size to believe in that being the gospel going forward. So keep an eye on that. I do think any team that's going to be successful in the NBA nowadays is going to have to be aggressive from behind the arc. That's just the meta. But I don't get too attached to the low sample size numbers just yet, because if we do, Raj, it's the Timberwolves and the Cavaliers in the finals. Right?
I mean, I'm with that. Call out the Towns versus Evan Mobley. I'm with it.
Randy says Raj Gunn didn't even leave the stream to get his PS5 delivery. I mean, I didn't. I did have my PS5 sitting outside for like 3 hours. But
I mean, hey, your spot's probably a little more safer than mine.
It's really not. I just had I was supposed to sign on delivery, and that jerk bag just left it outside, and I was sitting here. Let me get caught up here. It's just a Kelly O night with Grant out. If Grant's officially out, yes, I love Kelly Olynyk. Absolutely. So
I don't think we have that news yet.
I think Embiid's in, but if Embiid was out and Jeremy Grant was out, Drummond, Olynyk, Montrezl Harrell. That's like $16K of salary, and you could almost take 30 per. Like that would be 100 plus.
You could almost take like 40 per. Yeah, you can do 120 easy between those 3 guys.
Absolutely. I think, like I said, I'm not expecting Embiid to be out though. He's been playing so far. So, Mavs leadership council ordered a hit on KP's back. I don't know what was going on. He had that black eye. Did y'all see that?
He had a black eye today.
Yeah, whenever Randall plays a close game, he puts up 60. I don't mind that. Remember, a couple of these Knicks games did hit OT, but yeah, Randall at 9,500. So think about where he lands in ownership, right? If you want to build backwards to the field, if we did get at least 2 of the, we're for sure going to have Montrezl Harrell, right? But what about if Kelly Olynyk opened up? You'd have 2 of those guys. So I think the basic way to formulate a lineup with that out there would be to take the value at power forward and center, the Montrezl Harrell, the Kelly Olynyk, and people are probably going to spend up on the Lukas, on the Steph Currys, maybe even the Trae Youngs, maybe even the Bradley Beals if Dinwiddie's out, and people aren't going to land on the Embiids or the Julius Randle. So could be a way to get a little bit different in tournaments and differentiate your lineup construction from the field. Not necessarily the median optimal, but no one's stunned if Randall drops to 50 plus. With that said, I do think the Bulls are going to be a tough defense. I think the pace is going to be down a little bit, like we said. Defensive rating wise, the Chicago Bulls have the number 2 defense so far, still young, and the Knicks are above average as well. So we're not expecting a ton here, but the fact that it could be competitive down the wire and we could get Tom Thibodeau minutes and deep minutes projected on these Bulls as well. I got 34 minutes on all the starters outside of Patrick Williams. Sometimes I'll take minutes if it means I sacrifice some pace, some real scoring, and kind of get there. But I don't think anyone's egregiously priced. I think there's a world every now and then where Barrett, Fournier, Kemba Walker are a little too cheap, right? 30 plus isn't a hard ask there. I have Barrett right about 30 fantasy points on my projection. So sure. Then, if a Rose got there, somebody off the bench, Obi Toppin had a strong game his last time out. Sure. But no conviction in any of those plays just because there's so much variance and so many moving pieces on that rotation and on those price points. John says, I know we're not there yet, but I just saw that Porzingis is out tonight. Kleba is 3,200 on DraftKings. Man, Claybott's kind of like a Neto type where he's not guaranteed to smash, but that's a really, really low ask. Did that just drop while we were live? Yeah, let me double check the Discord. I'm sure he wouldn't lie to me.
I was thinking it says bin roll though.
Yeah, I did have him in the sheet. Embiid has been really bad this year, so he should get a rest. He hasn't been bad. Bad's a little.
He hasn't been Embiid, bad. He hasn't been Embiid good, but he's been fine.
Yeah. What up, Chronic? Yo, one of these streams, I'm gonna get you and Chronic. We're gonna have the 3 Live crew chilling like a villain and getting it going. Let's move on to the next game here. Rockets hosting the Utah Jazz. Project starting 5 for the Jazz: Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert taking on KPJ, Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate, Daniel Tice, and Christian Wood. We got 2-2-2 and another 1-2 is our total. 9.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Utah Jazz. Made him the cover boy, man. Rudy Gobert, another guy that could get lost in the sauce if we get the ultra value trifecta from the power forward center area. But check this out, man. Gobert has offered 40 plus fantasy points every game this season. He loves. Never mind. He gets rebounds. Let's say that 16 plus rebounds every game thus far. Maybe the Denver game went a little his way on the Jokic injury. But man, this is a great start to the season for him. And we know blocks and steals are also part of his repertoire, his arsenal of skills historically. What is that noise? Hey, get out of that! Dante's messing with this
grocery bag.
I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, he's messing with. Hey,
that grocery bag.
No longer messing with it. Yeah, so I like Rudy Gobert points per dollar here as a 40 plus fantasy point projection. The
Jesus. Cat's wild out.
Daddy
out here saving the day.
Yeah, bro. We got it's a catastrophe going on. Mike Conley, I got him at a 30 plus fantasy point projection. I got him at 30 minutes there. Look out for that. Donovan Mitchell, 8,300 on FanDuel. I need 40 plus. It's definitely viable. We start playing with a little bit of fire as the expectation is for the Jazz to put the Rockets away. But man, sometimes the unexpected happens, right? Utah Jazz on the road, maybe Rockets come out and stun them a little bit. Do you have vested interest in the Jazz success-wise? And then yes or no on the Jazz, would you still get to some KPJ, who continues to be a little too cheap on FanDuel for the opportunity that I have before him, even in a tougher matchup. And then Christian Wood, he would be the noggin scratcher because he gets tasked with Rudy Gobert defense, but his usage and his minutes are pretty sky high himself. What are you doing with this game overall?
I mean, yeah, Rudy Gobert's just been so consistent against his Houston team. It should be a smash spot. Christian Wood maybe kind of taking him out to the 3-point line. Maybe that's a little bit of a worry. That's the only thing I'm thinking about with Gobert, if that takes away a few rebounds. But other than that, it should be good to go. You mentioned Kevin Porter Jr. I think if this game is going to be a close game, he's going to have to be a catalyst for that. Probably give you 25 real-life points. And at 6,700 on DK, there's definitely some upside there. He can get you a 40-plus fantasy point game. Other than that, I'm not running to play against Houston guys because it is Utah. They are an elite defensive team. With Bogdanovic questionable for Utah, if he sits, I don't mind going to Joe Ingles. That's a guy who, I'd be more than comfortable playing at his price against this Houston team. Should get some run even if they blow him out. So I like that.
Yeah, Bogdanovic being in or out would definitely open up some minutes and opportunity elsewhere. Probably opens up a little bit more shots for a guy like Mitchell anyway. Bojan, somebody that I do believe will take more shots than maybe a Joe Ingles as a starter. And then if Ingles was slotted into that starting lineup, I would like Jordan Clarkson to be that guy, pal, off the bench, just ball hogging 24 plus minutes in every game thus far. He's another point per minute guy. Little extra volume shot attempt wise and a little extra potential responsibility in a potential absence. A lot of potential in that sentence of Bogdanovic. So keep an eye on that for sure. And then on the Rockets side, you mentioned KPJ. I think KPJ is somebody I'll get to on FanDuel a little bit more. Let me double check my projections and make sure that he is still listed as a small forward on FanDuel. I don't think they would have changed that yet, but the fact that he's small forward, point guard eligible, so he fills a role at the small forward spot more for me than the point guard spot. So he probably does become a stocking stuffer for me over there. I don't have any extreme interest elsewhere. I would say if you do project this game to get lopsided, the Rockets may raise their sense of urgency to chuck up threes, and we've already seen a Jalen Green game where he has chucked up 10 threes. He made 8 that night. He curtain called with going just 2 of 9, but it looks like he is their sharpshooter of choice here. And then Eric Gordon. I wouldn't get to Eric Gordon almost ever, but he did kind of stun us that last slate with 22 real points, and that's twice this season he has dropped over 20 points. So every now and then,
Utah. Let's remember, this is Utah, so let's not get too.
It's not, but Utah, last year Utah was leading the league in scoring from behind the arc. So obviously you're not going to score at will on the interior with Gobert on there. You're gonna have to chuck threes, and hey man, you pull up from hell no range and you start getting hot. KPJ, Jalen Green, and Gordon. I don't ever really play Eric Gordon because of the fact that he's more scoring dependent, but he is just 4,200 on FanDuel. So maybe after the first game or so, if I'm exposed to somebody that's dudding out, I take a shot on a riskier Eric Gordon to maybe save some of those lineups and push back on my likely failure rate on that lineup, right? If it did blow out, maybe some more minutes there for Whiteside. He's 4,300 on DK. Not like we need more value at center today. I'm never really a guy that plays Maurice O'Neal, but I would say at 30 minutes and perhaps a little bit more based on Bogdanovic's availability, maybe he picks up more of those stocks, those steals and rebounds against a young Rockets team. Definitely a potential range outcome there, and a little bit more valuable on FanDuel where he's a little bit cheaper, right? Let's get caught up on chat here. Pocket quarterback Lamar Jackson says KPJ get 5+ turnovers with that defense. Definitely possible. Dante is a cat before y'all. Oh yeah, Dante's the cat. I don't know if everyone knows that. I didn't just throw something at a child.
Yeah. It ain't like
that probably comes up.
That's so true. Yeah, I was saying, like, what's a little baby playing with his bag? That's so true.
I mean, I guess if a baby's playing with a plastic bag, we should probably get him to stop as well. Chat, where are we at? 120 plus of the realest OGs on all of YouTube hanging out with us right now, and you become even more real if you hit that thumbs up. We're at 33 likes. Can we get to 70? Can we keep the streak alive? 3 streams in a row of 70 plus likes, man. It's free to click that button and then just double check. See that subscribe button? If it's lit up, click it. We're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by January 1, and you would be a true OG after my own heart if you did that. Let's move on to the next game. The San Antonio Spurs at the Dallas Mavericks. Project starting 5 for the Spurs: Dejounte Murray, Derek White, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Poeltl. Up against Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Dwight Powell. Looks like Kristaps Porzingis not going to play in this one. So let's talk about the Mavericks, and let's talk about the what is it called? The Leadership Council Committee, whatever the heck they got going on. Evidently, Luka Doncic is part of this said committee. And they had some meeting before the last game where Luka and this council pushed for all 15 players on the Mavs to get to run in that game. So we saw just chaos in terms of minutes played against the Houston Rockets. Look at this, man. Josh Green, Moses Brown got 3 minutes. Jalen Brunson, he was part of the rotation. But guys that you didn't expect to touch the court. Boban, 9 minutes. Frank Ntilikina. Plenty of guys that maybe softened the minute projection that we had and the expectations that we had for some of these starters. Team morale boosted, whatever. It's a real basketball thing. They don't care about our fantasy lineups. However, Kristaps Porzingis even though just played 19 minutes that game, his absence here is pretty notable because historically, Luka without Porzingis, he's got to do everything. So we're going to pull up the Add More Funds NBA Wowie tool, and we're going to pull up the Dallas Mavericks here again. Get yourself into this tool. If you're not using an on-off court tool to quick reference some scenarios, man, you're really doing yourself a disservice. We'll pull this back to October of last year, and we'll just simply take off Kristaps Porzingis, and we'll put on Luka Doncic. Yeah, there's other players that are involved. Seth Curry might be in the mix, something like that. But the takeaway here is the 37% usage rate generally when Luka's on the court and Kristaps Porzingis is off the court, and the near 1.5 fantasy point per minute scored on Fanduel, and the 1.54 fantasy point per minute scored on DraftKings, with a 42% assist rate. That's insane. So big opportunity for Luka Doncic to step up, show up, and show out. And that assist rate might also have me shopping some assist props over on PrizePicks. We'll talk more about them in a little bit, but definitely a spot where you might project Luka to get to double-digit assists, right? So in the absence of Kristaps Porzingis, historically, we have seen Maxi Kleber start at the 4. Then you might still expect Dwight Powell to start at the 5. But who does that open up off the bench? Will Willie Cauley-Stein pick up some more run? Has Moses Brown entered the chat? I think all of this is volatile guesswork. However, there is at least some type of history of expecting Kleber to be the guy. With that said, that was a Rick Carlisle regime, right? Things could be different under Kidd. So the more I think I know, the less I think I know because it is Jason Kidd. But what I do know is Luka Doncic is in a huge spot, and I got him projected to be a top 2 raw fantasy point scorer on the slate. And then who do we go to past Luka? I feel like Tim Hardaway's the guy screaming at me, just 5K on FanDuel. That might be tier 1 territory. Is there anyone else on the Mavericks you want to dabble with?
I mean, with their whole let's play all 15 guys on the team, it's definitely annoying. Even Luka, I think because it's a 6-game slate and maybe raw points matter a little more, I'm fine playing Luka at 11K with no Porzingis. But I mean, if he sees 35 minutes instead of 39 at 11K, it's a big price tag. If he gets you 60, like that's great. And again, our 6-game slate, you can get it done. But I can also see that not being optimal at 11K. So
I don't think so. I think on a 6-game slate, if somebody gets 60 plus fantasy points, that dog will hunt. Throw out value, 60 plus fantasy points, that dog's gonna hunt, and that's gonna be in the winning lineup.
Yeah, because of the side of the slate, I'm with you, Luka. I think in terms of picking between Dwight Powell and Kleber, 3,200, 3,700. I think I might lean towards Kleber. Just because Dwight Powell starting, I think Kleber coming off the bench, you save a little bit.
I don't think
Kleber's a bit more.
I mean, salary-wise, yeah, but I think Dwight Powell has been historically more active in his per minute. But I guess you're not insane to lean that way. But Kleber is like a Neto for me, where there are games where he pops, but the average expectation for me is just like mediocrity.
Yeah, I think especially with Powell, with center only. So if we get Trez is going to occupy one center. So on FanDuel, Powell might not be, necessarily a lock and load, but with Trez taking up a center spot. On DraftKings, we have the Utah left center, so he can take that second spot, which is fine. You mentioned Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway is just a guy, to me, it's like Seth Curry. If a shot's on, he's going to get it done for you. If it's off, it's not a comfortable clip. 6,400, he's getting a price bump, so not running to play, but I get the play. I think the San Antonio side is a team that
I put in full context to that. Tim Hardaway at 5K on FanDuel would likely be one of my highest owned players.
Oh, okay, yeah. On FanDuel, 5K, get it. 6,400 on DK.
So far this season, Hardaway, when you take Porzingis off, has been second on the team in usage with some type of minutes, 20%. He's chucking shots. So you might expect 20 plus real points. Luka can't do it all.
Out here, you can't do it all. I get that play. With San Antonio, I really like Poto. I think Poto gets against Powell here and this the bigs from Dallas. I think he can dominate. He's seeing the minutes. Last game was the overtime game. Before that, 35 minutes. should get you 35, maybe 40 plus here.
But that's the thing. Like Pirtle is a new man at this price point, right? This
He
is the price that
40.
yeah, 7K on Fanduel, 7,100 on DK. You mentioned all the potential 5K easy clicks below him. I don't see how often or how confident I would get the Pirtle. I do think he's a beast. He kind of reminds me of, like the Mason Plumlee, guys that are often 5 to 6K, undervalued in terms of their per minute production, and then they'll pop off and have those big games. And we saw him have that big game against the Lakers. Went to overtime, got a little bit extra cheese on his taco, but for the most part, I think that the median expectation is probably him barely getting to 40 at this price point, which getting to 40 is fun at 56.6K, but at 7K it's not really going to shake a lot.
I hear you. A value though, guys, from San Antonio, I do like Vassell. Even want to take a shot at Lonnie Walker, two guys that just coming off, can score bunches real quick for you, get you that 5-6 sets at the price tag 42 or 4700s. So I mean, I like those guys as value. I think Murray's a guy probably have none of at 8800. It's almost like he's priced close to his ceiling. Coming off of a huge game against the Lakers, a 71. I don't expect that again. He can get you. I mean, he essentially needs a 50 at 88, and he can get you, as low as 35. So Jonathan Murray at 8800 is not something I'm going to get to.
Yeah, I'm spinning the wheel, make a deal on guys like Murray, White. I think those would be guys that probably land in the tier 3 of my like mass entry. In 20 or less, I don't know how much a priority I make those guys because we still have a little bit of news that is pending. Obviously, the 9K area for Bradley Beal would be locked up for me, and if I had a higher interest in Bradley Beal, it's just going to sacrifice Dejounte Murray access. And yeah, I think Murray does have triple-double upside. I think he has the ability to be a 50-plus fantasy point producer, but I do think there is more game-to-game volatility with who's going to spike. Is it going to be Derek White? Devin Vassell probably picking up some potential value at 4,200 in the absence of Doug McDermott. And then what are we doing with Keldon Johnson? Keldon Johnson ended up getting benched in that Lakers game. We saw more Keita Bates-Diop. So I think the guys that I normally play from the Spurs are Murray, White, and Pirtle, and those are the three guys I'd be more likely to play today. But the new prices are not really sitting extremely well with me. But I think if Bradley Beal didn't open up later, yeah, maybe I get to a little bit more Murray. But the bulk of my interest right now on Luka, and then Dwight Powell is just kind of looking at me at 3,700. I do think I wouldn't be stunned if he snuck into like a 30 fantasy point game, but it's completely contingent on potential minutes. And then how could we not mention Jalen Brunson? This guy is a problem, man. I love him in fantasy. He's a hustle stat getter, 11 assists in his last outing against Houston. Just a little bit of everything, some boards here, a steal here and there. He'll definitely be somebody I sprinkle in. So I didn't want to not mention that. Let me get caught up on chat here for you guys before I matriculate on to the other one. So Moses Brown, a lot of you guys asking about Moses Brown. Yeah, Moses Brown, if you are confident in him being part of the rotation, go for it. But remember, it took a literal meeting for the team leader to say, hey, I want everyone to be part of the rotation. And then Moses Brown, only got 3 minutes on top of it after just being a DNP all season. I can't get to a confident space and put minutes on him. So I know you guys want to play him. I know you want to feel like Porzingis being out means that Moses Brown has to play. That's not necessarily the case. They still have Willie Cauley-Stein. They still have Boban Marjanovic. So still a Jason Kidd effect. Now, he could play. He could be 100K to first type of guy. But I would say if I had to make decisions right now, I would have 0% Moses Brown, full disclosure. So I don't want to, poo-poo on people's dreams here, but I don't necessarily think that there's a clear path to high minutes, even in the absence of KP. So yeah. Pete says, give me the Spurs big three: Murray, White, and Jakob Poeltl. We'll trip dub this season with Poeltl. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with those guys fundamentally. I do think if we start just putting context to what we need for fantasy, right, at their price points and their return on the price points, Are we getting a massive deal? Probably not. Is there a little bit more volatility between the big game for Murray eating at the big game for Derek White? Maybe so. We'll watch it flourish as we go forward. And then is Devin Vassell a little bit more active than a guy like Doug McDermott, who we expect to just be like a shoot only type guy? And will that also pull away at these newfound price points of these other guys? So a lot to watch for in this Popovich rotation. But all of it, like, I'm fine with those three being the three that you walk away with. Mongo says, I know Bill hasn't had a Q tag lately, but he's not performing the way you think he would without Russ. I feel like he's playing more hurt than they let on. Maybe, but I mean, the Bradley Bill that I'm wanting tonight is the Bradley Bill without Russ, right? And the Bradley Bill, hopefully, without Spencer Dinwiddie, probably a 30-ish shot attempt kind of guy, gets enough peripherals and maybe we spike up his assist rate. I guess it's fair if we go do a wowie on that situation. I guess we probably should have did it earlier, but it's not 1-to-1 because it's essentially a whole different team, that Wizards offense. But we'll go to last year. We'll take out Beal, and even in seasons prior, take off John Wall. It just clearly led to huge potential for Bradley Beal. So this season alone, 100 minutes, 33% usage rate, over fantasy point per minute. Yeah, we'd probably want that to be closer to like 1.3, 1.4. So maybe there's some room for downside, but I don't know. I guess that's not without Dinwiddie. Let me take off Dinwiddie, see what the sample size is on that. Just 50 minutes. Under, oh, Jesus. Let's bring that back to last year. October 1, Dinwiddie off, and then we'll also take Russell Westbrook off. See what the numbers are. Like I said, it's way too early in the season to overreact and underreact to 2-3 games. Some of these teams, get into 4 games. If you pull it back to the beginning of last year, it's almost 1.5 fantasy point per minute, a 40% usage rate. It was just absolutely nuts. So, I get being skeptical. I get being pessimistic, especially if he draws a large ownership. But the Wizards would sink or swim based on him, and it's not a guarantee that Dinwiddie would be out. It's just a guesswork based on his injury and how teams have load managed guys coming back from that injury on back-to-backs. Lonnie Walker and Dorian Finney-Smith. I don't have a lot of vested interest in Dorian Finney-Smith, but I wouldn't think you're crazy for taking some stabs at Lonnie Walker. I got him for 30 plus minutes. He's a point per minute type of guy. I probably would like him if for sure Vassell was the starter and Walker is off the bench. I would like him a lot off the bench, so I'm fine with that take. Not that excited for DFS. DFS has been, just kind of a Royce O'Neal type, right? A lot of minutes, plays a great real basketball role, but not often going to pop off from a fantasy standpoint. But if you're just looking for something to give you a chip in a chair, right, a puncher's chance at 30, every now and then it's going to get there, but it's not something I would be aggressive on, right? Is Josh Jackson at 4,600 a good play, or do you not like him? I think historically per minute we've seen Josh Jackson thrive. We didn't see that last game, and that Pistons rotation seems a little bit oversaturated to feel confident in. If you start plucking away some guys, first of all, you would like to see Josh Jackson start over Frank Jackson to feel like he's definitely going to get a little bit of minutes, and then you would probably like to see Jeremy Grant out to feel like the minutes are even safer. But at no point do I ever see myself being confident about Josh Jackson. The only thing on that Pistons team that I'd be willing to get to if Jeremy Grant is out today is probably Kelly Olynyk for sure, and then maybe a little Sadiq Bey. I'm not that enamored with anyone else, but if you got that feeling in your bad knee with the storm coming in, man, you do you. I wouldn't talk you off a little bit of Josh Jackson. We have one game left on the docket. We'll take a pause for the cause and do a couple plugs here. First of all, I want to talk about PrizePicks. I did mention it earlier. Looking at that Luka assist rate was kind of staggering. But if you guys are doing the daily research and maybe you're not seeing the daily results on FanDuel or DraftKings because everyone's smart, man. These guys out here with 100, 150 lineups are usually really good at what they do. The edge has never been smaller because of so many great content premium content sites, and you want to simplify it a little bit, take the edge off, still play DFS, still play FanDuel and DraftKings, I definitely recommend trying, at least just trying PrizePicks. PrizePicks is essentially fantasy sports meeting prop betting, and it is really, really simple. You don't bet against other players, you bet against the projection, you bet the over under, you bet you put at least 2 bets or 2 picks on a card up to 5. You can power play it, get up to 10x you're buying. You could flex play it, soften the blow. If you miss one, you still can make some money. Check it out. If you use my code, promo code Gundecker when you sign up, click that link in chat if you're on a desktop. They will match your first deposit up to $100. So like I said, what's a $20 bill gonna hurt if you try it? See if you like it, see if you don't like it. Shop the lobby, right? And I'll show you an aesthetic here if you guys are in there. They have NBA, there's NFL tonight, the Packers, the Cardinals, the Packers, and no receivers against the Cardinals. They also have college football, MMA, hockey, baseball, the World Series is on, Valorant, esports, CSGO, disc golf. They have NASCAR when that's live. They have a little bit of everything. So if you find an edge somewhere, and even if you can't play that guy in DFS because he's 9K, he just doesn't fit, you can still get a little action and reward that research a little bit more by going to PrizePicks. So one of the things that stuck out to me was that 40% assist rate for Luka Doncic since the beginning of last year without Porzingis. So I want to see if they have an assist prop on Doncic. They have him at 9.5. So that would be staggering, but it would be something I'm a little bit curious with. Luka Doncic. Let's go DK by game log without Kristaps Porzingis last 10 games. So I would say he hasn't hit that quite a bit, actually, just 20. So something to keep an eye on there. There was another one I saw on Twitter earlier. I thought it was really sharp, but I don't remember who said it, so I don't want to steal it from him. I think it was Jordan Poole assist prop as well. Who said that? It was Dean from RotoGrinders. He loved the over on 3. He had a great explanation for it. And this early into the season, one of the things one of the sites I would recommend you guys bookmarking, not just for today, but in the future, is stats.nba.com. If you're looking for more free tools to add to your repertoire, this is one of the easiest ways to access some of the more advanced metrics that basketball has. And one of the metrics I think you guys can look at and maybe project progression or regression is potential assist. So if I go to stats.nba.com, I go per mode, we'll go per game, and then we'll go advanced filters, I believe. It's under... Maybe it's not under advanced filters. Season segment, season type, season. Maybe it is advanced filters. Player positions, all positions, game situation, all outcomes. Man, I am forgetting something here. But they have a stat called potential assist. So basically, you be watching a game, right, and you see Chris Paul keeps passing it to a wide open, I don't know, McCall Bridges or something like that, and he keeps bricking threes, and you're like, man, Chris Paul really could have had more assists if guys were hitting some shots. So you could project guys to start progressing, or if you see a guy that made 5 passes and they ended up in splashes each time, you can project, all right, guys aren't going to shoot 100% off of his pass points. You can project a little bit of regression and something to maybe normalize some of these numbers to start the season. Oh, here it is, traditional. So you would drop down here, instead of going general, traditional, I believe you go general, advanced. And again, this site's completely free. It's offered by NBA themselves, and they have assist percentage, assist to turnover ratio, and then what else is advanced? Trying to find the potential assist column. I wish it was all encompassing in one spot. I thought it was under advanced, but maybe I'm slipping. Maybe I'm slipping. No. All right. Anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. So you can cross-reference some of those potential assists per game and look at what PrizePicks has their assists per games, because they might be leaning a little bit towards what has actually happened. And if you guys are coming from the baseball streets, you know about progression and regression based on the law of averages. So another tool to add to your daily grind for PrizePicks. So I definitely recommend checking out PrizePicks. And like I said, you don't have to just bet the specific stat prop. One of the things you can do is bet against their fantasy score, and their fantasy scores is the same as Fanduel. It's the official NBA scoring. So if you guys have access to the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, you can go to that player props tab, and you can look at what my projection has certain players at, and look at what PrizePicks has them at, and see if there's any differences. And if you trust me more than PrizePicks or vice versa, you can bet the over/under. So my soft projections on FanDuel scoring put Montrezl Harrell at almost 42 fantasy points. So if we go to PrizePicks, we control F Harrell. He's at 36, so a little bit of a gap there, a 6-point cushion. So I probably would be tempted to bet the over there. And then there's a couple other spots where if you thought Dinwiddie was out, 42 plus seems a little soft for Bradley Beal. And as you just kind of peruse through what's available, there's a couple of guys that might offer some room. So my recommendation would be, don't try to staff in four or stuff in 4 or 5 picks. Be a little bit more responsible. Get some of those 2 or 3 leg parlays, tickets, and kind of rotate them out there. I usually like to find 1 or 2 anchors, my locks, and kind of core that and bet around that based on confidence levels and stuff like that. Yeah, have some fun on PrizePicks, man. Code Gundacker, get double your first deposit up to 100 smackers. It seems like every day the first hour in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat, it's just people looking for props to bet. So a lot of fun to sweat it, right? What up, Travis Duarte? Vassell going in again. I'm with that. Mongo says, hey, NASCAR's still going. Well, they didn't have it up. I know it's still going. Disc golf, that's what's up. Yeah, I haven't sweated disc golf. I don't know where to get stats for disc golf, but if you're into disc golf, they have disc golf. I've said disc golf plenty of times. Maybe this video shows up in somebody YouTube searching disc golf. What's up, Kickstart? James Conrad, disc golf, Jesus, get out of here. Yo, Randy's out here with the disc golf fire. What up, Fish? You can Google NBA injury official, pulls up the injury report throughout the day. Yeah, I believe that refreshes like every hour, even in the middle of the night, which is wild, right? Somebody sitting up in a cold sweat reporting that Montrezl Harrell has a migraine. I don't know. What up, Ash Breezy? What up, Encore? Anyway, we got 1 game left on the docket. Did all the plugs here. We got 130 plus of the realest OG. Still just 45 likes, man. Let's get to 70. If you get to 70, you're the best. I don't know. I didn't have a cute thing to say past that. Also, I did mention earlier on the stream, maybe I'll refresh it. The RunDFS.com premium memberships now offer a little bit more utility. We have partnered with Fantasy Cruncher to offer a per subscription credit towards an optimizer credit on Fantasy Cruncher. So more than likely, if you are serious enough about DFS to get a RunDFS.com membership, you're serious enough to get an optimizer membership. So you might as well take the discount, a little extra added bonus. If you guys get a month pass at RunDFS, they'll give you a $20 credit towards one of their subscriptions. If you get the 2022 year pass, $150 credit towards one of their subscriptions. A week pass is $5. 2 weeks, $10. These credits stack up, is what he was telling me. Meaning, if you got a week pass at RunDFS.com starting today, and just kept getting week passes for like, I don't know, a month or two, you would have $40 of credits to use towards their stuff. So it'll give you an opportunity to test it out, man. So shout out to Fantasy Cruncher for that partnership. And like I said, as you guys start transitioning from whatever optimizer you use to Cruncher, if you are in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, we'll do some group sessions where I screen share how to navigate, how to use some stuff, and we'll have a little fun. Main event tonight, the Memphis Grizzlies at the Golden State Warriors. Project starting 5 for the Memphis Grizzlies: Ja Morant, DeAnthony Melton, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams. It's going to get one board. What? taking on Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevin Looney. A 228.5 total, 6-point spread in favor of the home team, Golden State Warriors. My boy John Morant. They slapped a new price point on him. He's $9,600.
MVP candidate, John Morant.
Yeah, I saw that he was in the conversation for most improved player. I was like, well,
that too.
That's a lock, but he's one of those guys that like I don't know, like that year CJ McCollum went MIP. It's like, was he really MIP, or did he just go from 25 minutes to 35 minutes and his stats went up? Like, I feel like there's still
it's that. I mean,
like he was
John
good
Morant went from
year.
like star. Yeah, John Morant was a star, but now he's playing at superstar levels.
Yeah,
he's playing at like top 10, playing the league levels. So that's the thing with MIP. It's either you want a guy that goes from a scrub to like contributor, like a 6-man off the bench, or a guy who's, you know, a good starter, quality player, this case star, but takes the next jump. Like Harrison Barnes, am I most improved? Harrison Barnes looking like number 1 overall high school recruit that he was. Harrison Barnes right now.
I can't get through one stream with Raj without bringing up Harrison Barnes. Not even on the slate. He's not even on the slate.
I'm saying no more disrespect to Harrison Barnes. That dude's been killing it. He's having like 25 and 12.
He has. I've never been anti-Harrison Barnes, but he's doing some different stuff this year. But again, I'm not overreacting.
He's doing things that were expected 8 years ago when he came in the
league. That he got paid to do.
That's literally doing. Yeah, exactly. Right. So now he's doing it. It's good for him.
$9,600 for John Morant here. So last night the Grizzlies played the Blazers. That game was a little lopsided. He shot 5 of 12, 10 assists still, 9 rebounds, 40 plus. So this is the conversation with John Morant. No matter what you think of him as a real basketball player, Raj, he's 10K on FanDuel, 9,600 on DraftKings. That's hard to justify. Just point blank period. Whereas median range of outcome is probably mid 40s. And that's not like fantastic for this price point. I'm looking for 50 plus, right? So your confidence level on that has to really be high to sign up for some John Morant. I do think against the Warriors, a game that could turn into a track meet, a lot of scoring to be had. It's not stunning if John Morant has 30 real points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, something like that. So I don't know where I'm going to land here. I feel like I want to have some John Morant, but I can't get overly aggressive with it. Guys like DeAnthony Melton, Desmond Bane, all in the mix as well. Again, the price doesn't leave me a ton of meat on the bone, but I do think 30 fantasy points is there for a Melton, for a Desmond Bane, somebody like that. And on the Warriors side, to Steph Curry, I'm with that. And then we're seeing deeper minutes here for Draymond Green, 7,400 on DK. I get the hesitancy, but 6,400 on FanDuel, also center eligible. I like that a lot. That also might fall into one of my higher owned mid-price guys, man. That mid-price power forward center spot could be really nice with Harrell, with Olynyk, with Draymond, guys like that. And then, you know, there's a long shot chance of Embiid not playing and opening up like a Drummond. So it could be really, really one that could make a really low on Julius Randle or somebody like that exist. But what are you doing with this game? Steph Curry's 10-4 on FanDuel, 10-9 on DK. As you know, one of the most expensive players on the slate, he has to be one of the highest fantasy point scorers. In my early run projections before I went live, I had Luka Doncic projected for almost 10 more fantasy points than Steph Curry. Is that too aggressive? Do you agree with Doncic being the clear guy over Curry, or do you think it's more 50-50?
I think that's fair. I think I would have Doncic over Curry. 10 points is a little strong, about maybe I would say like 8, so you're right in the ballpark there. I think the only way I play, like if I play John Morant, I probably want to get to some Steph Curry in the matchup. Like I think, you know, like you said, it could turn into a track meet. It could be the Steph Curry and John Morant show. So if you want to fade Luka, you play these two studs together and fill it out with some value. I don't hate that call. And like you said, I mean this spot right here, I think John Morant's almost guaranteed for 30 real life points. I'd probably bet it, and has upside for 40. So 9,600 against his Warriors team, not a good defensive team. I do like him. Again, tough to play him with the Luka and some of these other guys. But if you want to kind of game stat this game, I like it. I think a guy like Steven Adams is intriguing. I know center we talked about, 5,600. He played 18 minutes last game. I think that was the blow up. Before that, 34, 27. This is a spot rebounding wise. I think he can really get a lot of rebounds here against Golden State. Could be a double-double spot. Get some peripherals. So I don't hate it. I like that. I mean, other than that, Jaren Jackson Jr. is a guy who was expecting more from this year. He's 6,500, just hasn't gotten it done in a single game to win your tournament. So not going there. It's just Ja Morant. And Golden State, you mentioned Draymond Green at 7,400. I think I'm with you there. Not a comfortable click. The upside is there against Memphis. Definitely a good matchup in terms of picking up his peripherals. Could this finally be the 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assist spot for him in a fast matchup against Memphis? I could see that. So if you want to play him in tournaments, I don't hate it. Guys like Poole, I think Poole kind of falls into the Tim Hardaway Jr., Seth Curry type of player where, they're going to chuck shots. If they're hitting, they're hitting. If they're not, they're not. So I think you can honestly interchange those guys, Poole, Seth Curry, and Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway with a slight bump because no Porzingis, but I think those guys are very similar. So if you want to interchange them all, I don't mind that.
Yeah, Steven Adams, 7K on Fanduel feels a little hard to get to. You said 5,600 is a little more inviting. I do wonder about him getting phased out of this game if the Warriors go small, Draymond at the 5, something like that. You might match that with Jaren Jackson at the 5. Then you might see a guy like Kyle Anderson stretch out and get some run there. So I think that is possible. I think Steven Adams probably not going to be a 30-plus minute guy most of the time, but especially against maybe a game that goes a little bit more small. Obviously, you got big minutes in I think that was an OT game against the Lakers. Lakers have a big front court. 27 minutes against the Clippers, and then 32 minutes against the Cavs. Cavs have one of the biggest lineups in all of basketball. So maybe it might be a game-to-game size-dependent thing. That's just thinking out loud. I could be completely off base with that. But knowing guys like Jackson could stretch out to be, a stretch 5 versus a Draymond at the 5 I could see that scenario for at least a couple minutes a game. So I'm kind of in agreement with that for the most part. I do think the Warriors past Curry, even with Curry, are justifiably stackable points per dollar. Like maybe I wouldn't want a ton of overlap between Jordan Poole and like Andrew Wiggins, but Curry, Wiggins, Draymond, I on FanDuel at least, I could see those guys all getting there at these price points. And then same with Poole. There's not a 0% range of outcome for me to be satisfied at 5,700, but I do feel like I might walk the line between Poole and Wiggins overlap. And then Damian Lee off the bench here for the Warriors. I got him leading the bench in minutes right now. He's a little bit of a riskier click, but somebody to keep in mind. And that's all I got here. Chat, you guys got any piping hot takes? Throw them at me. Any questions, comments, concerns? We'll try to visit some stuff. 3:36. I'll probably get you out of here in 10-15 minutes. Be sure if you guys are not coming into the RunDFS.com Discord, go check out the Osmo Deeper Dive show. My boy Adam, man, I think I saw that he shipped the 100K last night, man. So you definitely want to hear what he's got to say. Yeah, let me get caught up on chat here. Jaren Jackson sucks. Ouch. Harold's #1 play today says Isaiah Robinson. All in on Triple J. Justin says, I told you going to put some respect on my Cavs. Yo, Cavs with some stunners, man. A couple of stunners. Chat, if you guys want to hang out with me after the party, it's the after party. And after the party's Discord lobby, go to rundfs.com. I mentioned it earlier.
A real party.
Everyone that wants anyone, I think it's the week passes starting today forward. You'll get that Fantasy Cruncher credit. I'm working on grandfathering some of these season passers. And then, if you guys want to start your the optimizer venture today, get in touch with me on the Discord. But go to rundfs.com, get yourself signed up. That'll pop open the link to the spreadsheet for not just NBA. There's NFL tonight as well, and then the Discord. Get in that Discord voice chat. This is what our Discord looking like in about 20 minutes. We'll be sitting right here in the NBA chat, and it will be a lot of us chopping up the slate. It's a more modest, medium-sized slate, so hopefully not as stressful. Some of those 10, 12-game slates get pretty stressed, pinched for time here. Travis says, off topic, but Gronk needs to sit down one more week for my lineup sake. Let's go. Gronk says, the Shake Milton night. All right. Xavier Tillman dropping 25 tonight. I can see that. Discord. So the Discord is not free. It's a premium perk of having a subscription at rundfs.com. Maybe one day we'll be able to have a open lobby. I have to find like maybe a WordPress link to split it. I wouldn't mind having a free part of the Discord, but that takes a lot more work than this one-man gang has time to fill out here. Shoot around, 2Cam, boom. Chat, any lasting questions, comments, concerns? Let's knock them out. Let's get it. Any of your hot takes out the way. Am I sleeping on somebody? Did I say something about someone you really like and you're like, dude, gun is way off? Believe it or not, I am wrong every now and then. Not as much as Raj, but every now and then I'm way.
I don't know about that one. I got the last bet right. We trying to do another one?
A bet for today?
Yeah, what we doing? I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't feel like we had any
any disagreements. I know it's one of those days.
Chat put me and Raj against each other. I don't know. We could just head to head.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do a lineup head to head.
Me and you head to head.
Yeah, head to head single entry lineup.
Well, we won't do it on the air here, but I guess we'll.
Maybe
we'll set that up. I don't know. Maybe the host. We'll get Chronic involved. We do a host series. I don't know.
I like that.
Stewart or Olynyk on Fanduel. So contingent on Jeremy Grant being out, probably Olynyk. Isaiah Stewart's interesting. I guess maybe I slept on the thought of playing Isaiah Stewart. He's 5,700 on DK. I definitely feel a little bit more confident in loading up on Kelly Olynyk, but Stewart has 30 plus fantasy point potential. I'm more inclined to get to Olynyk though. But all that answer is contingent on Jeremy Grant being out. Did we get any? I don't see any other news. Yeah, no other news reporting. So, yeah. Does DeLon Wright get any play with all the Q tags on Atlanta? So the Q tags on Atlanta kind of dwindled down a little bit. It looks like Kevin Huerter and Trae Young are expected to play. Lou Williams may not play, but Bogdan Bogdanovic is the main guy to watch now. And if he was not playing, the other day we saw DeAndre Hunter out, so we might mimic what happened that game where Kevin Huerter got some run and then Cam Reddish picked up a lot of ball handling duties. I don't think that I would be confident in projecting DeLon Wright into anything extra. But maybe that's a sharp enough take in 100K to first. But so far, DeLon Wright is capped out at 18 minutes, and there's been several games without Gallinari, who's also back in the mix, without Lou Williams. So there would be more moving pieces than you want to feel confident there. But I think if Trae Young was out, obviously I'd be more inclined to look at DeLon Wright, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. So probably not for me, at least not for now, right? Uncle Luke says, what's up, Uncle Luke? Dinwiddie getting back-to-back minutes rest. I like Kuzma. Yeah, Kuzma would trend upwards in potential usage, and so would obviously Bradley Beal and then Montrezl Harrell. They become stackable, really. Kuzma is somebody I haven't really put a lot of thought on, but I guess I haven't projected for 30 plus fantasy points.
Kuzma should get some center minutes here. Right, and when Trez is on the back, see some alternating here where Kuzma plays the 5.
I think that's a little aggressive, like a little aggressive.
Okay. Small ball Wizards. I mean, he's averaging 11 rebounds a game.
If you think that, then load up on friggin' Collins and Capella. No, I would hope that's not the case. I don't know if they're able to. I haven't kept up with the Wizards. Maybe somebody in chat can let me know if they like activated somebody from the G League or something like that. But I have no. They have like Davis Bertans maybe that could stretch out, maybe get a couple extra minutes. He got 18 minutes last night.
Yeah, like 20 more years do nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's aggressive though. But Kuzma should be a good fantasy play. Travis Duarte says Doncic and Curry in the same lineup, going to be at the top tonight. I like that. Why is Lou Will not getting any run? So he's been out for a couple of games. Last year he wasn't really a big part of the rotation off the bench either.
55 years old and doesn't play any defense. It's about that time. You should just keep collecting those checks sitting on the bench. But I think his days as a productive NBA player are far over.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? I guess that's it. Raj, I will see you in the Discord, I guess, here in a little bit. And I'm gonna close out the show. Chat, that's it, man. We will be back tomorrow. So tomorrow around it sounds like around 1 Eastern or so. I don't know the specific time. I got to get that with you. Follow me on Twitter if you want to know for sure. But I'll be doing an Osmo NFL show around the hour before I normally go live here. So give me a little bit of flexibility in the start time for tomorrow's a live stream, but I do intend to get live as close to 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central as I possibly can. But hey, if you're playing some NFL this weekend, you want to know where we might be landing on some of my favorite stacks, something like that, go check that show out on the Osmo channel. And then, of course, Saturday morning, I'll be with EMAC on the Osmo channel talking the NBA slate. So there probably won't be a live stream on this channel for that as well. So tomorrow should be the last stream of the work week, but we will be live. But like I said, if you show up here tomorrow and we're not live exactly at the same time, just give me a little bit of extra slack here. I'll try my best to get live as soon as possible. Anything else? That's it, right? No hot takes here, chat. So that's going to do it for this stream, man. I definitely appreciate you guys, as always, making part of my day be part of your day. Hopefully we've helped you navigate through the slate, come away with a couple of picks. All I ask is hit that thumbs up one more time for the good time on your way out. Twitter.com/Gundackersports if you want to connect with me. DMs are open if you have any questions, comments, concerns, man. It is going to be hopefully a softer night for stress, for news, and then we can watch a little football while we're at it, man. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And go with some money.